This episode is brought to you by the Fish Sauce RPG. Unleash the power of precision. Our RPG, rod positioning gadget, is the ultimate tool for adjusting Scotty or Folby rod holders.
No more struggles or worn-out tools, just smooth, easy adjustments. Elevate your fishing game and shop the RPG now.
www.fishsauce.com.
And now we got a huge shout out to our next sponsor, Cold Water Strong. Cold Water Strong makes high-quality gear for boat and bank anglers alike, from flasher bumpers and bank fishing leader kits to kill bags and bleed bags. Cold Water Strong has the gear to make you the hot rod in the boat or on the bank. Get your Cold Water Strong products at local fishing retailers like Bob's Sporting Goods in Longview, Anglers Unlimited, previously Angler West in Woodland, and Fisherman Marine and Outdoor. Go visit their website at www.coldwaterstrong.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for episode 10 of the Wet Net Podcast. We got a cool one for you here today. We're sitting here by the river, one of our lower tributaries. We're not going to say which one. You guys can figure it out. I'm sitting here with Michael Wooten. How you doing, Michael?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing all right, man. Glad to have you here. This is going to be kind of a fun one. We're going to talk a little bit about some winter steelhead stuff. We'll talk about maybe a little bit of Springer stuff. We didn't bring any Springer rods or anything. But you are working for, is it Angler West or Angler Unlimited? Which one is it?
So right now it's Angler West by Anglers Unlimited.
Okay.
We're running it under Justin Wolf's old name.
Okay.
Just because it's the same location. We didn't want people to be like, well, who are they? Where is they at? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's Angler West by Anglers Unlimited. We want to branch away from Angler West and go straight on Anglers Unlimited, but doing all that and whatnot, it's going to take some time. We just wanted people to know we're there. We're open.
Yeah.
Well,
and Angler West has got a really big name too, so it couldn't hurt to keep that.
Yeah, exactly. So Justin Wolf's still doing his videos, so people are still coming in talking about Justin, and they don't even know it's new ownership yet. So when they come in and we're like, hey, it's new ownership, check it out. It's lots of new products, and it's going good, and I think it could be very successful and blow up.
Yeah, awesome. Before we get into the nitty gritty of this, we do have some giveaways still going on through Cold Water Strong. A couple episodes back, I think it was episode 8 or something like that. Ken Vellante was gracious enough to load everybody up with some awesome giveaways. So we got some of his flasher bumpers, we got some of the finesse flasher bumpers, and one of his bleed bags. So to win those, go back to episode 8, watch that episode. We'll explain to you how to win those giveaways in that episode. I think you go back to our Facebook page, share, comment on our Facebook page, go to Ken's Facebook page, Cold Water Strong, and share that. And then I think that's how you win. You got to go back to the episode and it'll get into better detail. Also, we're going to go over some of our river level stuff. I don't have my laptop right here in front of me, so I'm going directly off of memory.
Right.
I think, if I remember correctly, the Willamette River is sitting at about a 6 on the turbidity gauge. It looks like it kind of leveled off. So it's cleaning up real nice. We'll see how this weekend looks. We're supposed to get some rain here in the next couple days. The Willamette Falls actually got 4 fish over on the 19th, so those fish are trickling in for sure. Guys are getting them, and so don't be afraid to go spend some time out on the channel there. Columbia River, Vancouver is looking just below a 3 on the turbidity gauge. So out of Vancouver, that turbidity is looking awesome, and there's definitely some fish working their way up there too. I seen that. I want to say it was the 17th, there was a fish that went over Bonneville. So
yeah, there's been 5 or 6 springers over Bonneville, and guys are getting them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's only going to get better from here on out. Turbidity gauge down out of Quincy was looking about I want to say it was like a 6, about a 5.5 or a 6. So that turbidity downriver is looking pretty good too. So don't be afraid to go spend some time on the water. There's definitely some fish being caught.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now that we got all that boring shit out of the way, let's dive into depth a little bit about yourself, Michael. So, how old are you? You're a young guy.
Yeah, I'm 21 years old.
Okay.
Lived in Ellsworth, Washington until I was 5, and then we moved to Vancouver. I've been in Five Corners, Vancouver, from 5 to 21. So I've lived in Washington my whole life. Been fishing my whole life, camping, hunting, all that, all that outdoor fun stuff. So I mean, that's kind of how I got to where the position I'm at now, you know, being outdoors a lot and
Yeah.
learning all that good fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So you've been fishing since you were a kid, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mostly small river stuff, or you do some stuff on the big river too?
Yeah, my dad would take me trolling on his boat. He had like a 20 foot fiberglass boat. So I mean, we couldn't really do tributary stuff on his boat. So we trolled the Columbia in the ocean, you know, cut plug herring. We didn't really do a lot of the whole 360 flasher stuff. You know, my dad was kind of that old.
Well, and that really
guy
only
that
took
wanted
off. That
herring.
took off what, less than 10 years ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so my dad was more of a herring guy because that was popular when he did his thing more, and kind of stuck in that way of bait
Yeah.
versus spinners, you know, like a reactionary bite versus, you know, feeding them.
Mm-hmm.
My dad thinks fish are hungry. Like he fishes eggs in the tributaries and herring in the Columbia,
Yeah.
whereas, you know, I go over all the soft beads, hard beads, spinners, twitch jigs,
Mm-hmm.
spinners in the Columbia, just all of it, you know, like the whole broad spectrum of what fishing has available to you now.
Yeah.
Whereas back then it was pretty limited. You know, everybody drift fished eggs
Mm.
and you trolled herring.
Right. Yeah. Everybody was doing bait. And,
Yeah, that's what it used to be now, and it's everybody's throwing bobber and beads. If you go into a small river and don't see 80-90% of the guys throwing beads, it's a weird day.
yeah. Absolutely. So, kind of a little bit into your background, into kind of retail. So, you worked at was a Sportsman's Warehouse, right?
Yep.
How long were you there?
I worked at Sportsman's for almost 3 years. I was a month shy, so 2 years and 11 months.
Mhm.
I worked in the fishing department. It was cool. I learned a lot talking to all the customers and working retail and being around fishing stuff all the time.
Mhm.
Kind of got pushed away from it though because corporate stores is just
It's
not-
rough.
It's not great. So that's why when I got that opportunity with Angler West by Anglers Unlimited, I had to take it. You know, small shops is the way to go for sure.
Yeah. When did Anglers Unlimited take over Angler West? That was just a handful of months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we've only been open for about 2 months. Robert Day's the new owner. He bought it in January. Justin Wolf had it shut down for I don't even know how long, a couple months at least. Kind of fell into his lap. He bought it, hired me up. He knew I worked at Sportsman's and I had my little YouTube. So I mean, I have a small follower. He knew who I was, and he knew that getting someone with fishing retail experience in his shop was gonna help for sure.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not running the shop, but I'm one of his managers. So I mean, I'm definitely helping him out.
Yeah. Was there any kind of relationship with you and Robert before the store opened? Like, did you guys kind of know each other, or was he just kind of looking for somebody to run the store, and he was like, "Hey, I know this kid."
Kind of both. We barely knew each other. Like I've ran into him a couple times on the river, like at the Lewis and Cowlitz and stuff like that, just doing some small river plunking and stuff like that for steelhead and coho or whatever. And then he also knew me from Sportsman's because I worked there for so long. Like I've helped him and his boys get products when they couldn't find it and all that. So I mean, it was kind of both. They kind of knew me from the river, kind of knew me from work, and just one day we were fishing for steelhead on one of these small rivers, doing some plunking, and he's like, "Hey man, I bought the shop. I'm gonna need someone," and I kind of got a hold of him, and they gave me more hours. So
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer for sure.
Yeah.
I was only working part-time at Sportsman's for those 3 years.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to go full-time. My manager offered me a full-time job. I said yes, and then they couldn't because those small corporate stores, they're only allowed to have so many full-timers. So Sportsman's Warehouse, only 33% of the store could be full-time.
Oh, gotcha.
And there was already 33%
Yeah.
full-time, and everybody leaving.
Give someone a fucking boot. Get out of there.
And they can't fire somebody for no reason.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody leaving was part-timers getting more hours, obviously. That's like the main reason why people left was more hours. Or corporate, like corporate sucked. Management wasn't too bad. There was a couple managers that would get on your case like for stupid stuff and
Yeah.
like piss you off, obviously, but that's just management.
Yeah.
It was more corporate. People leave for corporate or hours. It wasn't a terrible job. I mean, it's pretty fun. But you can't work there your whole life, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have some pretty cool stuff going on at the store. You guys are doing trying to get a bait window rolling. You guys got some pretty cool new hours. Kind of step into that stuff a little bit with the store.
Yeah, so Angler West by Anglers Unlimited. We're in Woodland, Washington by Horseshoe Lake on, I think, Davidson Avenue, I believe it is. And we open at 4 a.m. We got a bait window coming. So we're just waiting for the city to approve of the bait window. So they're got to do like the safety inspection and all that stuff in the back. So the whole store, to make up for it, because we were kind of lacking, we put this window off 2 weeks and this still wasn't ready. So we were like, we'll just open the whole store. The whole store was opening at 6, but now it's opening at 4.
Mm-hmm.
We close at 6 p.m. We're open 7 days a week. We're going through Brad's Direct. We got, lots of quick fish, super baits, cut plugs, all that good stuff. We're going through Short Bus Direct. We got lots of flashers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through Yakima Bait Direct. We got tons of spinning glows, lots of spinning glows coming.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the spinning glow selection you guys had. I went in there with my buddy the other day to help bring in a bait fridge, and the spinning glow selection, I was just picking them off the wall. I was like, all right, we'll go 6 of these, 6 of these. Oh man, 6 of these. And from the sounds of it, it's only getting better. So.
Yeah. We're in the Plunkin capital where we're at. Woodland, Washington. You're right in the middle from Bonneville Dam all the way to Cathlamet.
Mm-hmm.
All that whole stretch of the Lower Columbia River. We're plunking. We're running triple spinning glows with coon shrimp. We're running spinning glows with hoochies with tuna balls up at Bonneville Dam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are plunking this whole river, and we're right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So to not have spinning glows is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sportsman's, when I worked there, we would sell out of them mad fast. They would be on back order for like a year before we'd even get them. So we'd be sold out for like 6 months a year before we put more in the containers. And a guy would come in and grab the whole container of one color, and then that screws all the other customers. So at Angler West, we're working on getting like 1,000 of each color, 5,000 of each color. Like we want to have them because people buy them like crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it definitely helps having a Yakima Bait Direct. You guys can go directly to Yakima Bait instead of having to have a middleman.
Yep.
So that'll definitely help. What kind of things are you guys going to kind of focus on with that bait window? You guys going to have herring, anchovies, coon shrimp, sand shrimp, just all of it?
All of it.
Is that going to be a drive-up bait window, or is that going to walk up?
It's walk up, but you could damn near park in front of the window. I mean, it's a 5-minute walk from where you're not a 5-minute walk, a 5-second walk.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I said 5 minutes. It's a 5-second walk. I mean, you park right here, and the window is to your left. I mean, 5 feet, if that. And then there's tons of parking for boats too. So I mean, whether you park in a line and like pull up, get out, or you want to like park by the lake in all of our parking spots over there. I mean, there's tons of room in the back of our store. And depending on whether way you're coming from, sorry, I'm not good with directions, but whether you're coming from the freeway or you're coming through Old Town or Old School Woodland, there's an entrance to the back of the store.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
We'll have everything for bank and boat fishermen.
Yeah.
Coon shrimp, sand shrimp, herring, anchovies, all the good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like there's some really cool stuff going on over there at the store.
Yeah, we're killing it. And for just reopening and not everybody knowing where we're at, who we are, it's going well. And the season hasn't fully kicked off. I mean, we're right in the middle of steelhead and springers. So I mean, steelhead's not terribly slow, but it's definitely a little bit slower than a month ago.
It seems like you've been getting them pretty good still.
Yeah. Playing cleanup. Shout out to North Fork Lures. Dominic, you're making some good product.
Yeah. There you go. You got a plug.
Yeah, so we're working at something out. I want to be an ambassador for him. I've been killing fish on his, not killing fish, I guess there are a lot of wilds, but I've been hooking a lot of fish on his spinners like almost every day after work. My buddy got his first tributary steelhead on one of his spinners yesterday. I got one on his spinners the day before that, a couple days before that. I mean, just consistently coming down, hooking fish on his spinners. I mean, everybody's going down to the river, like I say, and throwing beads, and that's not the only thing that works. I mean, drift fishing still works. Like, you could come down and drift fish eggs, catch fish. You can come down and throw a spinner, catch fish. It's not just beads. You can come down and throw a bobber and worm, bobber and jig, and everybody's so fixed to this whole new bead thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I caught a fish on a bead yesterday. I throw beads, but to just,
it's just another tool in the arsenal.
And yeah, like to not throw everything at a fish before you leave, or like at least throw a couple options before you leave, is ridiculous. Just to come down, throw a bead, snag up, tie another bead, snag up, and leave is unreal. I mean, you're leaving tons of biters behind, depending on no matter what you want to do. Like, you could, like I said, drift fish, spinner, jig, worm, it's not just beads. They work. They're a tool.
Yeah.
They're not the only thing that works.
That's right. That's right. Now, you got some rods right here behind you.
Yep.
You want to start digging into some of those and just kind of
Yeah,
walking us through what we got?
So when the Cowlitz is good in the late run, because it's a late run steelhead fishery, so February, March, I was doing a lot of diver fishing on the back of my little 14-foot boat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a line counter reel. I like a line counter reel because then you can, set it to like 35 or 55 or whatever. I mean, you can still do poles.
Mm-hmm.
Old school poles works. But should I put the microphone down?
No. I can hold this.
Okay. So, I mean, the main thing is rigging it up with a diver and a spinning glow and coon shrimp.
And then you can hook yourself. That seems like it'll work.
Yeah, so some guys do a dropper on a slider to the diver. I don't. I tie it straight to the little clip that they put on there.
Yeah, that's the same way I do it.
And then like a 4-foot leader to a spinning glow coon shrimp. Small river back trolling, I do a size 6 spinning glow, like your sockeye spinning glow. Anchored up on the Cowlitz versus smaller river. Like I don't back troll on the Cowlitz. I anchor up and just wait. Versus Kalama, you're gonna back troll. I use a size 4 spinning glow with a treble trailer, size 6 treble trailer. You will miss a lot less fish. So that the first day that I ran this year, I was using 2 singles at first, and I missed 2 bites.
Okay.
Rod was like gone before I could even grab it.
Right.
I mean, like they pinned the rod and they didn't stick. I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with that all day. So, I mean, 2 bites, like if you lose one and land one, it's whatever. But like 2 bites that didn't stick, it's like I got to change something up real quick.
Right.
So I put on the treble trailer. Very next bite, fish was laced. I mean, that I could have fought it for an hour. The treble was choked down its throat, and the single hook was like in its snout on the outside. So I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah. So when you're putting your coon shrimp on, are you putting it on the top hook there, or are you putting it on the trailer?
I put it on the top hook. Put it through the back, and I mean, should we do a little quick demonstration?
Yeah, we got some coon shrimp here. I can get this out of the way. I'll carry this if you want to pull out a coon shrimp. Talking a little bit about coon shrimp, are you impartial to any specific brands, or do you just kind of run whatever?
I kind of run whatever is most
Whatever's
accessible,
working. Yeah.
And whatever's working.
Yeah.
Bill Revis's with Millennial Shrimp, his work.
Yep.
Landon with Washington's, his work. I've caught fish on DNG and Ray's shitty bait too. I mean, it's just don't let your bait demotivate you. Put some bait in the water and you can catch fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fish.
So I can hold that microphone for you while you rig one up if you want. We got guys coming in. We got guys coming into the parking lot here.
Pulling their drift boat out.
Yep. So kind of talk guys through what you're looking for with a good coon shrimp.
So I'm not as picky with my coon shrimp as a lot of other people. Like some people want their shrimp to be straight. Some people want their shrimp to be barely curled like this. Some people want their shrimp to be super curled. I'm not picky. I fish them all. And whether it's a small shrimp or a big shrimp, fish don't care. Trolling, I like a medium-sized shrimp so it doesn't mess with the action of the pro troll.
Right.
But when you're like plunking on the bank or on a boat, diver fishing, spinning glow and coon shrimp, I don't think the size of the shrimp matters too much. I mean, some guys will say like the small shrimp for sockeye and the medium for steelhead, the big for Chinook. I mean, when you're targeting sockeye with a size 6 spinning glow and small shrimp, you catch Chinook. When you're targeting Chinook with a big spinning glow and big shrimp, you catch steelhead.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter that much.
It doesn't really matter. My main thing is presentation. So like some guys, when they're trolling, rig it through the side of the shrimp like that.
Yeah.
But when I'm on anchor doing a lot of this diver and coon shrimp fishing, I like to go through the second ridge. I think there's a specific name for it.
That's not the carapace, is it? Is that
I
the
think
carapace?
that's the name of carapace. I go through the carapace, this one right here, the second notch, and then I just poke it out the head and then open up the bait loop. Just like a lot of guys do this. Some guys stretchy string it on there. I'm not a big fan of that because then when you want to rebait, it's a hassle to take it off.
Yeah. Sometimes just being quick and efficient is the best way to do it.
Just get in the water,
Yeah.
Like that right there with the treble trailer.
Yeah, and you can even stand up and show that to the camera if you want real quick too.
Can I take this off?
Yeah, you take the headphones off. Yeah.
So up there with this or just...
There you go. You can walk that up there and tell them.
Cool. How long is this?
That's about it right there.
So right here is a spinning glow coon shrimp leader with a size 6 treble, 2-aught single on top. And I just go through the second callipus and rig the bait loop through the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Size 4 spinning glow, 2 6mm beads, about a 4-foot leader to a magnum diver. You can use standard divers too. You know, you're only fishing about 5 foot of water when you're targeting these steelhead. But something about making sure my bait's down with a bigger diver and then your spinning glow is going to float your bait up. So, I mean, when you're plunking, your lead is on the bottom. So I just use a bigger diver, make sure it's down there, and let your spinning glow do the work for you.
Yeah. Well, I've also heard that leader length kind of plays into that a little bit too. Like the longer your leader, the more it's going to float. Do you find any truth to that?
Like when we're doing some summer steelhead fishing, trying to be more finessey, we'll run like a 5-foot leader, no spinning glow, and a small diver, and your bear coon shrimp will just, imagine nothing on there.
Yeah.
Your bear coon shrimp will just dance in their face. It's beautiful, and you have that long leader, so it kind of just kicks up, goes down. It's almost like fishing a bead under a bobber, but diver fishing the bait. It just dances down there, and the leader definitely does play an effect, because I was down there running like your normal 3.5-foot plunking leaders, and this old timer anchored up next to me was catching more fish with a longer leader, and he's like, put on a longer leader, and I started catching fish. So when you're running no spinning glow, I like a 5-foot leader. When you're running a spinning glow, I like a 4-foot leader.
Gotcha.
So leader length plays a big role in this.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So we can go ahead and get that one put away. And then next you got some bobber rods set up, don't you?
Oh yeah, lots of bobber stuff rigged up. I was just actually on the Klamath this morning before we met up. I got skunked, unfortunately, but I'm going on the drift boat with my buddies later, so hopefully we make up for it.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I started doing a little bit of the diver and bait stuff on the smaller rivers this year, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. Definitely something I'm going to be experimenting with more in the future.
Yeah, diver bait fishing is phenomenal. I mean, we're about to go run some diver and bait actually on the Klamath on the boat. Small divers with size 6 spinning glow.
Yeah, looks like that rod might fall there.
Oh, yep, good eye.
Yeah, definitely millennial coon shrimp, awesome stuff. Bill makes some good stuff. There's a lot of good shrimp tiers around. I've always kind of been impartial to millennial. Even back in the day when he still had his dry brine stuff, I was running millennials, so you gotta love them.
Yeah, I used to use a dry brine. I just dumped the juice out. That's all Bill told me to do, is he cures it up the same, just dump the juice out.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you just want to hold that, then you can do the rod in one hand and the microphone in the other, and I can hold this stuff for you.
Cool. So the other day I hooked probably the biggest steelhead I've hooked in a small river, bead fishing, and I wasn't using a bobber dog and float, but I was, I guess, what you could call bobber dogging. So that's a 1/2 ounce bobber with a 1/3 ounce dragon ball by P-line, with about 2 feet of leader to a 16th ounce bullet weight. In the bead Bible, it says you want your weight to slide. So everybody out there using a split shot, check that out. The bead Bible does say to have a sliding weight instead of split shot, fixed. So I got a sliding weight to a swivel, to another 2 feet to about a 14 mil bead, to another 2 feet to about a 12 mil bead. And when you're bead fishing, it's good to be dragging in that fast water. That's why I was bobber dogging. So I was only fishing about 4 foot of water, 5 foot of water, but I was set to about 6 or 7 feet deep. And that bigger bobber, that 1/2 ounce bobber, they counteract each other, right? So the bigger bobber pulls on the weight, but the weight being set deeper than the run pulls on the bobber.
Gotcha.
So the bobber pulls on the weight so it doesn't snag up, but the weight pulls on the bobber so the bobber doesn't drift through the holes too fast. So I had to think about how I was saying that. Yeah. So the bobber dog, you want to slow your presentation down. And everybody, they use super long leaders. I mean, I'm doing about 2 feet between each setup,
right?
Maybe 2.5. But yeah, small hooks to a little bead is killer. Like size 2 hooks, size 1 hooks, nothing too big. Even bump down to size 4 hooks with little 10 mil smaller beads. But yeah, bobber dog and beads, or you can chandelier them too. So theoretically, instead of that 1/3 ounce weight up there, you would match your bobber weight with a normal weight. So a 1/2 ounce weight to a 1/2 ounce bobber, and then set your depth a little shallower. That's in for, excuse me, sorry, that's for like softer water. So if it's not
if it's not ripping.
Yeah, if it's not ripping and super boily, you don't have to necessarily bobber dog. You could do what we call it chandeliering. So you use a half-ounce weight, half-ounce bobber, you know, a sliding weight or a split shot to keep it down, and then you're 2 feet to your bead.
Gotcha.
It's basically the same thing. You're just changing your depth and your main weight.
Gotcha.
Other than that, your setup's the same. You know, you got the split shot, the leader, 2 feet. Another big thing I guess I could talk about too real quick is on my leaders, I've got a glass bead and a sequin tied into the leader right here.
Okay.
So when a fish bites here, could you hold tight on the leader right here? When a fish bites, the bead can't slide down.
Okay.
So if a bead slides down to right here, your hook will cant out and the fish can pop off. They can just roll off the hook.
Gotcha.
So you don't want your bead to slide down. I ordered these on Amazon for real cheap. The sequins and the glass beads, you know, because when this whole idea blew up, people were just buying them from craft stores. You can't find them at craft stores no more because fishermen are going in there and buying them.
That's funny.
So order it on Amazon or whatever, you know. And it's super easy knot. You just tie your leader. You put the glass bead down on top of your hook. You wrap your tag in through the glass bead. And then you wrap your hook through that loop 6 or 7 times and pull it tight.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about here. It'll be tough for the camera to pick that up, but
yeah, I mean, there's lots of demonstrations on YouTube. It's been around a while. It's no secret. Just going over, you know, what I do, how I like to do it. The B&R makes a bead stop that works, but it slides.
Gotcha.
So B&R, it's kind of like a worm threader or a bait threader. You slide your tag into your line through the bead stop thing, and then you pull the bead stop down your leader. But when you peg your bead on it, you know, you put it your 2 or 3 fingers above your hook, and when a fish bites, your bead will slide down to your hook, and your hook will, instead of being like straight up and down, it'll be like canted a little bit, and the fish can just like roll right off. I mean, you'll lose way more fish.
Gotcha.
You'll lose way more fish.
Have you tried any of those new addicted hooks? I've seen they have the new addicted bead hooks. Does that kind of avoid that?
So no hook will change the bead stop problem, but the hook could definitely change your hook to land ratio. The beads. So when you're biting a bead, when a fish is biting a bead, the hook is pegged away from the bead. So a lot of the time they hooked on the outside of the mouth in that maxillary fin.
Okay.
It's a bone that's a fin.
Right.
Or that they call a fin. So the hook is the number one thing, not necessarily the bead stop. You know, you can catch them on a B&R bead stop and it works, but if you don't have a good hook on there, like if you're using a light wire hook, they're going to bend the hook out. If you're using a super big hook, you're going to snag up bottom instead of getting a clean drift. The addicted bead hooks are good. I mean, they designed them in our area.
Right.
Owner mosquito hooks are good. Randy Bales with Lured by the Bead uses VMC Sure Set drop shot hooks. We have those at the shop. Angler West. Gamakatsu's got a new bead hook. I've been messing with those. One of my leaders is a Big River bait hook, size 2. I mean, I think it's the shape of the hook more than anything, and the strength of the hook. So like when you're bead fishing, the new big thing is having a hook that the eye isn't, what is that, 45 degrees, I guess?
Yeah.
You don't want an eye that's straight, but you don't want it to be 45. It's like, I guess, in the middle. So it's like, it's almost a straight eye, but it's not a straight eye.
Gotcha.
And what happens is the hook, when you tie a egg loop on it, the hook is bent inwards a little bit more instead of like, so it's bent, your hook is bent in towards the bead. So when you set hook, it's harder for the fish to get off.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, like anything with a somewhat straight eye, or bigger baits, they don't have that straight eye, but the shape of that V and that gap, they're super strong and sticky.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I can take that microphone if you want to get your next rod ready too.
Cool.
The next rod, it looks like we're looking at maybe are you gonna do the worm next, or is that kind of the same setup just with a worm?
We could go over the worm super briefly.
Yeah, we make it nice and quick. So yeah, as a new tributary guy, I mean, I don't even have a bobber rod set up or anything yet. So this is all super good information. It's all super interesting for me. Just kind of getting into this stuff here.
Right.
So
another big thing that you probably just see me do is when I'm hiking in and out of these rivers, instead of having your stuff all getting tangled with all your other rods. 'Cause most of the time when you're fishing steelhead, you don't have just one rod. You got
Right.
like one bobber rod or one spinner in a spinner rod, or two bead rods or two bobber rods. And I mean, I'm hiking around with 3 rods right now, but if everything's all clinking around like this, they'll get wrapped around all your other rods.
You get a tangled mess.
Yeah, so I just loop it all around my rod.
Yeah,
And
I do the same thing with my trolling rods when they're in the boat.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then when you get there, you can just unwind it up.
Yeah, makes it nice and quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time you can do it one-handed, but sometimes it's hard.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so this would be the same setup, just with a worm, a 1/2 ounce bobber with a 1/2 ounce inline weight and an 1/8 ounce jig head with about a 3 foot leader.
Mhm.
And then your bobber stop on top is to adjust depth. You know, if you're fishing a run that's about 5 feet deep, you're going to want to fish about 4 feet deep because you don't want to be dragging bottom.
Right.
So, I mean, you can fish anywhere from 10, 20 feet deep all the way up to, 2 feet deep if you just shorten up your leader.
Right.
Fish aren't tall, everyone's big problem is they cast to the middle of the river and they fish the deepest part of the run. But these fish aren't tall. You don't need to fish deep. 4 feet deep is perfect for steelhead.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yep. Super quick and brief. Super simple setup.
Yep. Awesome. And next, it looks like we're going to get into some hardware stuff, and this is kind of where you're hoping. So, are you affiliated with North Fork? Or are you hoping to get affiliated
So,
to be an ambassador for them? Is there a conversation that's going to be had?
So me and him are gonna have lunch sometime soon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty set that I'm gonna be one of his ambassadors. He
Yeah.
said he needs more people on the team. I've been doing really well on the spinners.
Mhm.
I just got one of my buddies on his first ever steelhead in a small river.
Yeah.
And it was on one of his spinners.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really promoting him. I've been hooking fish on him consistently. I fish a lot, and having somebody on a team that fishes a lot is good because they can get that right feedback that you need. If you release a new color, I can go test it out. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
So-
And it's also, he's obviously doing something right because as somebody that's not a tributary fisherman, I recognize the company name North Fork Lures. So it's
Right.
It's
Yeah.
he's definitely doing some good stuff.
And if this all works out, I do have some good ideas for him because his paint and his work he does is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he should release some 3.5 blades.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
If he started painting up some 3.5 blades, I have some good ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't even think you really got to get that one unraveled there. You could almost just explain what you got.
Yeah, so you don't even really have to get unraveled. So on a spinner rod, I mean, the rod length doesn't matter too much. Right now I'm using a 9'9" rod, but you could use an 8'6", all that good stuff. This is one of my bobber rods. Most bobber rods you want a 9'6" to 10'6" so you can mend your line.
Gotcha.
But I'm just using one of my bobber rods. It doesn't really matter too much as long as you can feel the spinner thumping. And I got high-vis line on here, so what I do is I tie about a 5, 6, 7 foot bumper with 15, 17 pound fluorocarbon, and then I tie my spinner on just main line. And
Are you doing like a 50-pound braid, or what are you doing for the braid?
so all my reels are spooled up with 30-pound braid. I might do 40-pound braid next time, but I don't know. A lot of guys say 40, 50-pound braid, but I have really good luck with my 30 because the 30 cuts through the water and I mend really well with it. Like when
A
it's
little
super
smaller line diameter.
Yeah, when it's really boily, I can pick my line up and mend super easy, and I don't move my bobber much.
Gotcha.
However, the 50-pound floats better, so 30 pounds sometimes gets sucked under the water if you let it sit on the water too long.
Gotcha. Okay.
So another thing is like when you're using the 30-pound braid, just make sure you're keeping your rod up. Make sure you're staying on top of your mending. That's why you got the high-vis line. If you let your line sit on the water too long, it gets weird. It'll like start to get sucked under, and then it makes your mending weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, 30-pound braid, 15-pound fluorocarbon bumper to a Norfolk lure. Right now I got on a Michael Jackson, but all of his colors work. I mean, the last week I've posted different colors. I've got one that it's a Angler West only. You won't be able to get it on his website. You'll only be able to get it on our website or in our store, but he makes it. It's going to be the Captain America spinner. So it's
I seen that one.
Yeah, so it's got like a blue flash and a red tip on a nickel blade.
Right.
It looks killer, and I already caught a fish on it, so it's certified. Michael Jackson certified. Last light, I've been throwing an all chartreuse with a chrome blade. Yeah, spinners are really working. People are leaving a lot of fish behind, throwing only bobbers.
Yeah.
Most like the first ever fish that I caught on this river behind me was on a spinner. Wasn't one of these because I didn't know about him then.
Right.
It's on a blue fox. But it was on a spinner, and when I went down there was 3 guys leaving. They had 6 rods total, and all of them had bobbers on it. Not a single one Not a single one of the 3 guys threw hardware.
Mm.
So I had a buddy with me, and he's like, well, 3 guys just beat it up. Do you sure you want to go hit that hole? Like, if they didn't catch anything, why would we? And I was like, dude, they didn't throw any hardware. It's like, let's just hit it real quick with hardware and then move somewhere else. We go down there and hit it with the hardware, and I caught a fish.
Yeah.
Hardware works really well. And then ever since I switched to these over at Blue Foxes, I learned I can fish a lot more different styles of water with the torpedo-shaped spinner versus the bell body Blue Fox.
Right.
These are heavier and they're more aerodynamic, so they get down deeper faster, and you can fish them in faster water quicker. So where I've been fishing these steelhead, you know, like I said, I was bobber dogging beads, dragging it through there, slowing it down, or I'm fishing this torpedo body spinner because it's getting in their face and staying down there and thumping and just, you know, making them active.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
They work well. They work well for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my water bottle.
That's all right. And it looks like we got one more rod to go through there. Tell us a little bit about this guy.
So, you know, Robert, my new manager at Angler West, he was kind of just joking with me. He's like, just deal it on that. And I was like, all right. So the only thing I did was I took the stock line off. It was like 6 pound or 8 pound.
Yeah.
Put some 40-pound braid on there. It only has 50 yards, so if a fish wants to take a long run, I mean, I got to throw anchor fast. I got to chase this fish. But I didn't have to throw anchor for either of the 2 fish we landed on. We caught 2 steelhead on it. Just diver and spinning glow fishing, the same rig I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah.
Packing it up was kind of funny.
Yeah.
The fight was super hilarious.
Yeah. You've actually got a video of that too on your Facebook. Do you have one on your YouTube, or is it just on Facebook?
The YouTube video is coming. I just haven't had time to edit it yet because I've been fishing a lot after work. So and I open at 4 a.m. So open at 4, get off at 12:30 fish. I'm beat by the time I get home.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But in between the steelhead and springer season, I'm gonna get it edited up and posted on my YouTube. My YouTube's called Angler's Dream. It used to be called Fishing with Michael. So I mean, if you recognize me on the podcast and you're like, Angler's Dream, that's not it. You've probably seen me as Fishing with Michael before. I changed my name. My buddy moved, and you know, I was just like, hey man, it's like his name was Michael too. That's why we named it Fishing with Michael at first. But when he moved, I was like, look, if we blow up, selling like a shirt or a hat that says Fishing with Michael on it's gonna be like a lot harder than like, you know, like Addicted blew up and their merchandise, people buy it because it doesn't say Marlin on it, or it doesn't say Cameron on it.
Right.
It says Addicted on it. You know, it's a brand name, not a person's name.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been doing the YouTube? A handful of years, or?
We've had it probably for around 3 years, but we've been super slacking.
Yeah.
I've been super slacking. It's just hard because a lot of spots I fish, you know,
you don't want them blowing up.
I don't want it blowing up. Like, I don't mind recording on the Cowlitz. I don't mind recording on the Columbia.
Yeah, because everybody already knows.
But when you're fishing these small rivers in our Southwest Washington locations, it's already super packed with people.
Right.
And, you know, if you figure it out on your own and recognize it, you know, good job, you know. But, like, just to have somebody beat you to the spot you've been fishing because they seen you post a video on it on YouTube, kind of hurts. Yeah. It really hurts. Like, as you go down there, like, hell yeah, I'm going to go, you know, hopefully get a video or fish for my video, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, you're just taking a buddy down there. You're not even recording. You know, you just want to go have a good day. And because you posted that video, now there's 5 guys standing there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's part of the reason that with the podcast, you know, I'm really looking forward to doing some on the water podcast stuff.
Right.
But that's probably all going to be like well-known fisheries, you know, like I won't take this down. I won't take this down and do summer steelhead. I won't take this and do, you know, anchor fishing on the Cowlitz or, you know, or whatever. Just trying to be informative and entertain, but also not screw myself or screw a lot of people that were doing it before me.
Right.
You know? And, but yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this kind of different scenery, you know, not just sitting in a studio. And, you know, we'll be doing some different boat ramps. We'll be doing some on the water podcast stuff. And over time, I hope it's going to turn into something pretty darn cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of potential. People like to watch podcasts. You learn a lot. Like, you know, you get different people's opinions on fishing. You know, like I just went over like how I like to bobber fish, how I like to spinner, all that, diver. You know, some people rig it up a little different. You know, some people, like I said, not everybody's running the sliding weight instead of split shot. You know, that's one of my little things that I read on the Bead Bible. So
Yeah,
So
and it's taking bits and pieces of information from even from people that aren't necessarily guides. You know, like some of the fishiest dudes I know are not guides. You know, so getting to pick everybody's brain and take little bits and pieces of information from everybody, it can help a lot.
Oh,
so
100%, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can dabble into a little bit of springers real quick. So for Spring Chinook, are you kind of a tributary guy, or do you go and troll on the Columbia, or do you do both?
I do both.
What's your favorite way to go for them?
My favorite way to catch a springer right now is a super low key thing. Jigging a laser minnow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Super low key. Not a lot of guys doing it. It's been around a while. If you've seen them before, it's probably because you caught rockfish on it. Out in the ocean. But it's a super good early springer lure from now through May. It kills fish because these springers coming in, they're feeding on herring and anchovies and smelt versus hitting spinners. You know, the water's cold.
Yeah.
So when you go to the tributary and bobberfish eggs, it's just a little bit different than, you know, a boat hover fishing herring, or, you know, you throwing a minnow. A minnow literally looks like an injured bait fish.
Yeah.
The laser minnow. And you're jigging it, and it's 1 ounce. It gets down. It's fluttering in their face. It looks like a little injured bait fish. It works.
Yeah.
Last year I caught a fish in front of 8 guys on one, and then the next day everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing bobbers.
Yeah. Without getting into it too much, because we don't want to blow your stuff up. If you were to go onto like a tributary, what kind of water are you looking for to do that? Are you looking for almost for like a hover fishing hole, or are you looking just kind of anywhere?
So I had my most luck on it for spring Chinook versus fall Chinook, and I think that's because these springers, they sit in current versus stagnant water. Like those fall fish, they sit in that stagnant water. So I think that current, it's almost like a swing jig, right? So you're fishing about 15 to 20 foot of water, and you're just swing jigging it, maybe even 10 foot of water. I mean, it doesn't have to be super deep. Anything a springer would hold in. So 10 to 20 foot of water that's moving, it works money, because then it literally just looks like it's injured while it's popping along the river, and you cast out and you swing it towards yourself while you're jigging it, and then you reel it in and do it again, and it works well. That's probably my favorite way to catch a fish, just because catching it, I use steelhead rods when I do it, so fighting a big 15, 20 pound Chinook on a light steelhead rod, yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
My second favorite way would probably be trolling, like 360 spinners and prawn spinners, like up above the dam. It's a meat fishery, you know, you catch a lot of fish. So watching your rod bury 3 to 5 times a day is always entertaining.
Takedowns are cool to watch.
Yeah, the takedowns are cool to watch. It's just, you know, it sucks that you gotta have boats, so many people around you. There's not a lot of room for error, you know. If a boat hooks up in front of you, you gotta pull up. It is what it is, though. Yeah, absolutely. So, alrighty, well, I think we're kind of getting towards the end of the episode here, after my phone took a brutal beating. Poor phone. Anyways, let's take a second to kind of get back to you. We'll just kind of plug yourself, plug the store, plug your YouTube, just go all over that one more time. Yeah, so right now I'm working at Angler West by Anglers Unlimited. We're in Woodland, Washington by Horseshoe Lake on Davidson Avenue. We're going through a lot of retailers direct now, so lots of spinning glows, lots of flashers, lots of
really cool stuff.
Quick fish. We're working on wobblers. Lots of super baits are in. Cut plugs. Lots of super good stuff. I do YouTube. It's called Angler's Dream. Yeah, I mean, I'm just local guy doing his little thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, we got some giveaways going on still. Cold Water Strong giveaways. Go back to episode 8. Listen to that. Figure out how to win. Yeah, I mean, we went over a little bit of river conditions and how that's looking right now. Everything's kind of shaping up to be pretty good. Fish are definitely in the system. Don't be afraid to go burn some bait, burn some fuel.
Yeah, there's lots of fish around.
Go find them.
Between winter steelhead and springers.
Yeah, definitely opportunities.
In this late March, there's lots of fish around. Yeah. Tributary, main river.
Yeah. Kokanee's going on too. Guys are getting kokanee.
Yeah, kokanee's doing pretty good. Yeah. My coworkers have been out there doing fairly well. They just got their limits
Gotcha.
2 or 3 days ago.
Gotcha. Very cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in to episode 10 of the Wet Net podcast with Michael Wooten. It was a good time, man. I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for giving me a chance to shout out our new location and what we're doing.
And we'll definitely try to do something again here soon. Maybe do some on the water stuff. Maybe we'll try to get Robert to jump on and get a little bit more in depth with some store stuff.
I'm just he definitely has a little bit of the grip better than me, like everything going on in there.
He can get a little more in depth into it.
And I mean, I feel like I got a pretty broad spectrum of everything, but he might be able to get a little more in depth and get a feel for how the ownership is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that was a big thing with Angler West in the past was the ownership and the hours. People never really knew when it was going to be open. We're open. So, we'll try to get Robert in here and hopefully maybe even do like a little Springer trolling episode or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. I'm looking forward to doing some on the water stuff with the podcast. I think we're going to have some really cool stuff coming, some cool guests coming on. And so stay tuned for all those. And thanks again, Michael. And
no problem.
Good luck with your drift boat stuff here in the next hour or two.
Got a drift boat trip coming up, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Alrighty, you guys have yourselves a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Adios.